The Men in Black travel back in time to stop an evil alien thirsty for revenge that wants to kill our beloved Agent K. Oh boy, let's go for it! And that's why today in Flick Summary, Men in Black 3. The third installment of the Men in Black trilogy opens with a lady bringing some sort of flan to an alien prisoner named Boris the animal, who, by the way, is missing an arm and being held in a maximum security space cell. They let the lady go through, as Boris and her share a particularly gross kiss that ick the guards that watch them. Thankfully for the viewers, the guards interrupt them as the lady hands them the flan, but Boris warns them not to eat it, but they pay no attention to him and eat it anyway. Seriously? Where did these guards get trained? An alien prisoner tells you not to eat something and you don't eat it. Period. Anyway, a spider inside the flan kills the guards and proceeds to release Boris from its chains. Cool. Several guards run to stop Boris, but he is incessant and kills them all without any struggle whatsoever. He shoots up a hole in the prison which sends all the guards flying out, including the lady that brought him the flan to begin with. We travel back to Earth as our ever-iconic duo J and K have successfully stopped some weird alien happenings and neuralizing everyone that saw it. You know, your typical Tuesday morning. They prepare to head back to MIB headquarters when we get hit with terrible news. Zed, the head of the agency, has apparently passed away, and K is set to read his eulogy, which concerns J, seeing as K isn't particularly expressive. Whatever you say, Captain. Anyway, we get to Zed's funeral, and just as J predicted, K gave a completely emotionless speech as Agent O, Zed's replacement, decides to take the mic. Now that's what I call emotional. Later, we get to spend some more quality time with Boris, the scary, angry, armless alien who has already landed on Earth and is out for blood. Boris then pays a visit to some random dude who is a little confused about his sudden appearance and asks him what he needs, but will let Boris himself explain. Okay, so there's a device that can take you back in time, and Boris wants to kill the man that took his arm. Okay, sounds good. Let's put that on hold for a second though. After Zed's funeral, J and K head on over to a Chinese restaurant, where they are apparently cooking some illegal aliens. That sounds weird. I mean, literal aliens, which you are not allowed to cook. As J and K bust the restaurant, the owner of the place, who is also an alien, apologizes to the agents, as he offers them an alien-free food and promises to free the other aliens. Of course, J and K accept his offer. While the agents enjoy a bit of a dinner conversation, K opens up about his father, as he reminisces about a game they used to play when he was younger. J then decides to joke about his own father, and how he never got to know him, but K scolds him, telling him not to speak ill about his dad. Okay, K, how about you relax? Not too long after, K notices that there's some strange activity in the restaurant, and I'm guessing his spidey senses must have gone off, because he realizes that Boris the animal has landed back on Earth. The agents then kill some aliens that are siding with Boris before he even makes his appearance. As they chase after them, they are led to a roof where Boris is expecting them. Well, Agent K to be precise. As it turns out, Agent K is the one that shot off Boris' arm. And well, Boris is not too happy about it. They have a bit of a shootout until Boris throws them off a building and gives K a final threat. Right after this rather strange encounter, Jay starts asking questions about Boris and who he is. But true to his character, K is avoiding the questions and tells him not to meddle in something that is above his pay grade, even though they're partners. They run then into a bit of a petty argument as K grows more and more annoyed, throwing petty insults that don't mean anything. Before K storms off, he reminds Jay that there are some things he doesn't need to know. Cool, now I'm curious. The next day at the MIB offices, Jay is doing some digging of his own and trying to find out what K is keeping from him, and he is hiding it. However, every time he thinks he might find something, the information turns out to be classified, which annoys him to no end, seeing as he's a senior agent. Agent O, Seth's replacement, in case you forgot, asks him why he's digging into his partner's past and tells him the exact same thing Kay told him the night before about some things that he doesn't need to know. Don't they know that it's just going to make him more curious? Back at his place, Jay is playing some video games to get his mind off things, but is interrupted when Kay calls him, trying to tell him the truth but not getting the courage to, leading Jay to hang up on him. We then cut back to Kay, who has a weird weapon that sucked him into nothingness, which in turn made Jay feel all drowsy all the way from his apartment. The following day, Jay looks for Kay over at his place, but realizes that an entire family has settled there, confusing Agent J as he returns to the MIB agency. Once there, a strange man rides the elevator with him, telling him about a stakeout that went down between the two the night before. I'm sorry, what? Jay walks away from him and starts asking everyone questions about Kay with no one able to remember him. Okay, so let's just say that it's about time we get a little bit worried about our friend Kay. Jay decides to ask Agent O about Kay, and she seems to be the only one to remember him, but apparently he died over 40 years ago when he was fighting Boris the animal. Jay appears to get dizzier and dizzier each second that goes by, and growing more and more desperate about that chocolate milk he asked for 2 minutes ago. Noticing his appetite for chocolate milk, Agent O realizes that Jay is stuck in a temporal fracture due to time travel, which shocks Jay, who didn't know it was even possible. Jay realizes he needs to time travel in order to stop Kay from getting killed. Jay then looks for the kid that helped Boris time travel and forces the guy to help him, who doesn't need much convincing to do it. He explains Jay everything he needs to know about time travel before giving him one final warning. Yup, thanks for the heads up. Immediately after, Jay makes a time jump and hopes he arrived at the date, but doesn't take him long to figure that one out. Phew, we made the right date. Trying to find Kay as fast as possible, Jay steals a car and drives away, but this time around, luck isn't on his side. Jay gets pulled over by the police and openly admits that he has stolen the car, which, as you can imagine, they don't appreciate. They try to arrest Jay, but he neuralizes them, giving them a quick lesson before continuing on his journey. You tell them, Jay. Due to Jay's digging on Kay's past, he is quick to figure out where Jay and Boris will be, promptly heading to his next location, an amusement park. Once there, he scavenges all around for Kay, but surprisingly, a younger Kay finds him first. Well, that isn't a warm welcome, is it, Agent K? Kay takes Jay over to MIB headquarters and asks him what he knows about, the agency. In order to protect him and avoiding making a dent in the timeline, Jay lies to him and pretends he is unaware about most stuff. However, Kay doesn't buy it and is suspicious about Jay's intentions, so he decides to get him neuralized. However, they don't have the high-tech neuralizers they do in 2012, so it's actually quite a bit of a process, one that Jay is thankfully able to stop. He then comes clean about who he is, where he is from, and his plan to stop Boris, but he skips the bit of getting Kay killed. Now, trusting him, he decides to let Jay guide him for a little bit as they drive around. Jay notices that his usually grumpy partner is actually a little chirpier when younger, and he tries to figure out what happened to him that got him so moody. But we'll get to that later. Kay then gets some information about someone that might be able to help them locate Boris. They head over to some strange event where everything is ridiculously 60s, but that's not the point. As it turns out, Andy Warhol is there and he is actually an undercover Man in Black agent who leads them to Griff, the last alien from the Arcanan planet, who can sense all possible outcomes. Jay gets to talk with Griff, a nice little fella who seems to be constantly paranoid. I feel him. Griff knows that they are looking for Boris and tells them that if they find him again, he will give them a present that will help them save the Earth, and then he walks away. 2 seconds later, Boris shows up and is shooting up the place every which way and then jumps out the window. Jay tries to catch him, but Boris is too fast. Frustrated, Jay is concerned he is running out of time, but Kay remains calm, deciding to go out for a pie. To be honest, that does sound like a good problem solver. Once they get to the place, Kay, in a completely out-of-a-character moment, opens up about his life, confessing that he has a bit of a fling with O. Jay gets a bit of a realization moment and gets to the conclusion that Griff is over at the Mets stadium. How he got to that conclusion? No idea, but that's where he is. They get to the Mets stadium and find Griff, who is cheering on the players even though the place is completely empty. He shows Jay and Kay his ability of seeing the future and watch the game along with him. Well, isn't that life? Anyway, remember how Griff said that he will give Kay a present if they were able to find him again? Well, it's a little tiny shield that is able to protect Earth from otherworldly threats. Neato! Griff is quite paranoid about losing Earth, seeing as he lost his home planet. So he entrusts Jay and Kay to save the world from Boris' greedy claws. You see, Boris is hunting Griff to avoid this exact moment. Ha! Too late now. Or that's what you think. Boris finds the agents and Griff as he tries his hardest to get the shield back from Jay and Kay. They get into a little bit of a weird vehicle chase and try their hardest to run away from Boris, but he's too fast, quickly grabbing the much desired shield from the agent's hands. Boris later on meets with his future self and notices that the shield they got is actually a phony one, much to his frustration. Luckily, Griff still has the real one and entrusts Jay and Kay one more time to save the Earth. Well, that's sweet. In order to get the shield working, Kay has to go to some spaceship deployment and attach it to the shuttle, which is precisely what Jay has been trying to avoid, seeing as that's where Kay gets killed. He explains this to Kay, who doesn't take the news lately, but Griff tells them that there's no other way. Kay has to be the one to attach it. The next day, Jay and Kay make their way to the deployment location, where Kay will save the Earth from Boris. However, on their way there, they get stopped by some military dudes, which of course make everything more complicated than what it has to be. Fortunately, we have Griff by our side, who shows one of the army dudes just how important Jay and Kay are to save planet Earth. He allows them to go through to the area of deployment as Jay and Kay head on to defeat Boris, while Griff explains that in order for them to succeed, he needs to go, which Jay isn't too much of a fan of. The military dude gives them clearance to all areas and wishes them the best of luck. Boris is waiting for them already, and as you can imagine, a whole chase and fight takes place, while Kay tries to attach the shield to the ship. Jay then throws old Boris off a construction site, while Kay fights younger Boris and fatally shoots him. Finally, some luck on our side. As the ship leaves Earth, older Boris rises from his fall and shoots the military dude that helped them out, as Kay makes the decision that saves his life. Jay then realizes that the military dude that gave his life for Earth is actually his father, as a younger version of him pops out of his dad's car. Kay decides to protect him and neuralizes him. You see, that's why older version of Kay is always angry. What a plot twist! Older Jay then jumps back to his timeline in 2012 and meets with Kay, telling him that he knows everything that went down, thanking him for saving Earth and protecting him as a child. Excuse me while I cry. Luckily, Kay does remember to leave a tip. And that's all for today. Now, let me know in the comments what movie should I do next, and as always, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends. See you next time!